Here's your host, Chelsea Edwards.
Welcome to another episode of Chattin With Chelsea. I'm your daytime bestie, Chelsea Edwards. You can be strong, you can be successful, and you can still carry so much more than anyone realizes. Today's show is about the invisible loads that we women carry at home, at work, in our relationships, and how even the most capable women will struggle to ask for what they need. We are also sitting down with an author to unpack how high-achieving women can find themselves in toxic relationships and, more importantly, how to rebuild and move on after. Because being strong doesn't mean that you have to do everything alone. Sometimes we just need to figure out how to say exactly what we need.
I don't need me time. I need no one needs me time. No one needs me. No one needs me time. I don't need me time. I don't need it.
That part, yes, that's specific. That's how we've got to get. And this is why we need no one needs me time, because there is not a shortage of things to do going in our brains over and over and over again. Here's a little peek on what it looks like inside of here.
If you want to know what's going on in your wife's brain, then keep watching. Let me just finish unloading this dishwasher. Oh crap, I forgot to switch over the laundry. Okay, the girls are going down for their nap in 30 minutes, so I better replace these sheets. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize how much of a mess it was in here. I'm just gonna tidy up real quick, and then I will remake the bed. I've also got to remember to repaint that dresser. Maybe I'll do that this weekend. Milk, we're almost out of milk. I need to add that to my list. Okay, let's remake this bed. Okay, pillowcase is still in the dryer. There you are, little buddy. Okay, I think I'm gonna fold the laundry while the girls are down for their nap. Why can't I do things right the first time? This is gonna bug me, so I'm just gonna fix it. Okay, pillowcase is on the pillow. Let's get back to the dishwasher. Oh my gosh, it is a mess out here. Let me clean up some of these toys. Okay, if I fold the laundry during nap time, that means that I won't have time to work out. And I also have to figure out what we're making for dinner. Okay, let me just throw these toys in here, and it's a mess in here too, so I might as well just clean up while I'm here. Oh crap, I forgot to text that person back. Okay, dishwasher, we meet again.
Was this my life? Like, this is exactly how I operate. My goodness. Here to chat about this invisible load thing, we've got Jen Pinkerton, psychotherapist and sexologist. So you were covering all our needs, basically.
Absolutely.
Do you feel like this as well, even as a psychotherapist? Does your mind run like this?
Absolutely. I mean, it is a never-ending script that we have. The story in our head never stops. It never stops.
So many things. And I also felt her when she was talking about, okay, if I do this, then I won't be able to work out. It's like you're battling so many different priorities. Yes. So is that what you would describe the invisible load as, this mental rigmarole?
Well, I like to look at it as this emotional labor that is unseen. And it has to do with the emotional gymnastics, the emotional negotiation you're talking about with yourself. How am I going to get all these things done? Everything that has to be done that is unseen, all the responsibility and the weight that's carried. And it's so consistent, and it's frankly never ending.
Yeah. So when I try to describe invisible load, I think of, okay, we have a birthday party to go to Saturday, but that's not just it. Somebody's got to figure out like RSVPing and getting the gift and getting there and then getting back and going to the next thing and all of that.
Yes. What are you going to wear?
Yes.
Who else is coming? Did I need to tell somebody when I get there something that I forgot? That it's never ending.
Never ending.
And I think so often women are just left feeling unseen. And it is a fundamental need for all of us to feel seen and heard. And so if there's this load that you're carrying and it's quiet, it's invisible, and it's something that no one talks about, then you end up feeling burnout, and you end up feeling like you have a lack of boundaries, and you end up feeling unappreciated.
And that could lead to resentment, I feel
100%.
like. If you have a partner and you're carrying this load and they have no idea what this load even is, I mean, how would you even sit down and start trying to explain that to a partner?
Well, I think some partners truly have no idea what's happening. They just think it's the fairy, the magic fairy that makes everything happen.
Comes together.
That's right. And some people, I think, are maybe aware of it but don't know what to do about it. But the biggest thing is to be able to verbalize it, to articulate it, to talk about it, to be able to ask for support. Because women, honestly, we're not raised usually in this world of it is okay to ask for support. Think about our messaging. Let's be independent. Let's be strong. You know, let's get things done. And let's not ever be a burden to anyone. And so that desire to remain small in that way, I don't want to burden someone else, keeps it quiet. And then maybe your partner has no idea what you need. Or maybe if you do tell them what you need, you've told it in a really angry, resentful, burnout, we've reached the end of the rope kind of way. So I think the key is to be able to talk about it up front in the beginning, right when you're starting to feel these things.
Okay, all right. And you are going to show us how to communicate that much better.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Yes,
There's a
we need
nuance
it.
to it.
Yes. Okay, we're going to take a quick commercial break and we will be back with those tips. You don't want to miss it.
Come back to me.
We are back with Jen Pinkerton, psychotherapist and connection expert, to help us sort out this invisible load that, I mean, it's hard to explain to our partners. Oftentimes, those are the people we need to let know that we're carrying a lot that they don't see. So what are some of the stories that women are telling themselves when they're doing all this carrying and leading to burnout?
You know, sometimes it's this idea of I need to earn love, or this is my job. Maybe I just need to be quiet and do what I'm supposed to do. And while, yes, there may be some inherent responsibilities, being a mom, raising kids, etc., your job is also to be honest and transparent with your partner. And to be able to say, I'm struggling, I need help, I need support. Just being seen, just being able to be recognized for what you're doing can go a real long way.
Yes. Do you also get women who feel like their partner may not be able to handle additional responsibilities?
Yes.
Like there's a trust issue there with being able to pass some things off your plate.
And that's a fine line, because we can't also expect our partner to step up and do a lot of things, but then micromanage how it's done. So there is a part of letting go that has to happen to say, okay, maybe it's not going to be done the way I would really want it to be done, but I'm going to be grateful for the help and grateful that that person is seeing me.
Yes. Okay. If that stung just a little bit, you needed to hear it. All right. So what are some ways that we can create some boundaries and try to move out of carrying so much?
I think that looking at your whole life and maybe asking yourself this one question, which is, what am I taking responsibility for that no one sees?
Okay.
And really thinking about that, and then talking about it. Maybe saying to your partner, I want to talk to you. Is this a good time? I want to express something that's really hard for me. I need some help in this way, or I'm struggling here. And then the boundaries look like, where else in your life can you maybe lessen that load? Are you overextending for everything else? Have you learned how to say no? Because no is a complete sentence.
It is, period. Put a period
That's
at
right.
the end.
Being able to say just something so simple like, I am not comfortable with that.
Oh, that's a good one. That is a really good one. Okay, what are some
And if
other
you're going to
ways?
be a little harsher, maybe that doesn't work for me.
Okay, I like that. I don't mind a little sass.
little
That does
bit.
not work
The
for me.
last one, I think, would be, I want to take some time to think about if I can do that, and I'll get back to you. Allowing yourself the space to see, is that extra additional thing, maybe did you sign up to go bring cookies? Are you able to do that?
Yes,
You know, and
yes.
especially if you're a mom, not just at home, maybe you're working outside the home and being a homemaker as well, and you've got double these responsibilities, being able to illustrate that. How do you carve out time for both? How are you seen for both? And does your partner recognize that? Because the biggest part of the invisible load is that word invisible. And we want to make what's invisible visible. We want to be transparent about it and to communicate about it in a way that we can use our voice and speak of the fact that we want to not burn out. We want to be happy. We want to feel joy. And we can't do that if we feel weighed down and burdened and like we're not allowed to share how we feel.
I love that last response, because we can automatically often say yes to things without even realizing all the things that we're saying yes to.
Yes.
Just making cookies. It's not just making cookies. It's going to the store, making sure that you have all the things and setting aside the time to do the cookies and then bring them to the school.
And does anyone have allergies? And am I allowed to bring them? And what's the protocol for bringing them? And
Yes!
it's never ending.
All of that.
Never
It is.
ending.
It can be a heavy
That's
load.
right.
Yes.
That's right.
What about many of us who grew up with women who for our examples, these are women who carried those loads, and we saw them struggle, we saw them stress out. How do we kind of change that narrative for ourselves where I'm not going to be like the other women I've seen, and I want to be that happier person?
It's hard because we want to be superwoman. We want to be able to do it all. And this idea that we can do it all, I think, is really a disservice to women, because we're only human, and there's only enough time in the day. So being able to say, you know, maybe I saw someone do that before, but I've decided now, and I get choices in my life, and I'm going to choose to carve out something that looks different, carve out something that works for me, with a lot of healthy communication with my partner, a lot of acknowledgement about what I do, a lot of awareness of what goes on behind everything. Sometimes it's just a little bit of education, and you might have your partner going, wow, I had no idea how big that was. And so being able to talk about it and not feeling like a burden in doing so. It's not a burden to share how you feel if you're in a healthy relationship.
You are not a burden, and you deserve to be happy.
That's right.
I love it. All right, thank you so much, Jen.
Absolutely, it was great being here.
Yes, so good, such good stuff. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back. She is smart. She is successful. So why is she with that person? That is a question that people ask even of high achieving women. So Marta Pickard is here to talk about your book, Thrive After Heartbreak, A Journey to Healing, Purpose, and Wholeness. This is based on your own experience being in a toxic relationship.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. And this is based on experience of 2 toxic marriages. So,
oh wow.
Yes, so after exiting the second marriage, after separation, I began to just examine. began to ask some tough questions. Well, why is this happening to me? Why am I still attracting people in my life that's hurting me? And so during that time period, I realized that, you know, I had some R&R. I like to call it R&R. I had the degree. I had the education. I had the successful career, but I had a raggedy relationship.
Oh, that's the R&R.
R&R, a raggedy relationship. So in public, everything was good. Everything was great. My career was prospering, but behind closed doors, I was dealing with a lot of toxic activities, a lot of things that I just endured. And so that kind of led me to examine, you know, well, why does this keep happening to me? Well, it was revealed that I needed to heal my own self.
So what did that hurt look like in your first marriage?
In the first marriage, it looked like enduring cheating, enduring, staying with when somebody verbally abused, and the same in the second marriage, because when you don't heal, you allow those same toxic behaviors. It goes back into another pattern of toxicity.
So was there a time at the beginning, maybe when you were dating these men, that everything was blissful, or were there signs at that time that you just did not see?
There are always red flags, and here's the thing: when it's the person that has education, sometimes you ignore the signs. It's not about intelligence; it's about emotional wounds, and it's because those wounds distort how love should really look. And so you could be totally successful but still have a broken relationship.
So you looked good on paper, they looked good on paper, but it didn't equate to a great relationship.
Absolutely. There was, and then in the beginning there were so many red flags, but because you wanted it to work, you pushed right past those red flags into something that should not have been. What
were the red flags? Were there specific, like, verbal abuse red flags?
There were sometimes verbal abuse, like saying something that's out of pocket that you ignore. Well, he's just getting to know me, or he's just coming around, and it could be staying out all night. That was another thing that I experienced, staying out all night. Not, a lot of times we tend to put the cart before the horse, residing before marriage, all of those things add pressure to the relationship.
For you to stay.
Yes.
Okay, so I want you to give an example, because some women may think verbal abuse and just automatically think, oh, he's cursing me out and all that, but it may not even be on that level to still qualify as verbal abuse?
Well, even if a person is not just profane language, but if they are using derogatory terms towards you, like for example, if they're telling you you're overweight, I've gotten that before. You know, like, well, you need to do something about the way that you look. You know,
So
you need
this
to change.
This wasn't just genuinely caring about your health or anything. It was just, you just need to change this.
You just need to change. And it was just ignoring the signs that are there and directly put in front of you.
So break down Thrive. What does that mean?
So Thrive is actually the journey that I went on in order to go into healing. So Thrive is transforming your mind, is healing your heart, it is renewing your spirit, it's investing in your body, valuing your finances and embracing wholeness. So when we're talking about transforming your mind, you're talking about learning and understanding the knowledge. What does a healthy relationship look like? What is a healthy relationship supposed to look like? And it is understanding those things and also transforming those thoughts that tell you that you're not worthy of having love.
Yes. Okay. So for a woman who's watching or a man who's watching and starting to feel like, you know what, I might be in a toxic relationship, is that the very first step? Are we going in order? Like, I need to transform my mind first, or is it just, let's just break up with this person and figure the rest out later?
Well, the first step is getting out of that relationship. But in order to get out, you still have to transform your mind, because I endured it for years. For many years, I stayed in a relationship that was, that was not productive for me.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the H.
The H is healing your heart, and that's where it really gets deep, because when you're healing your heart, you have to go back to those deep wounds that maybe caused your mindset. So for me, it was the fact of what I observed as a child, watching the relationship between my grandfather and my grandmother, thinking about the relationship that was between my mother and my father. You know, why I watched my grandmother endure abuse, physical abuse, verbal abuse, and she stayed for many, many years. And by the time she exited that relationship, she didn't have many years left of her life, and unfortunately all of the rest of her good years, it wasn't too many left before she passed on.
Wow, an important lesson on it. Let's not waste time.
Don't waste time.
Live life the way we're supposed to.
Yes.
All right.
So it's going back and looking at those things, and really examining where did you get your mindset.
So once you educate yourself, transforming that mind, and then you start the healing, and then tell me how you did the healing. Was this through therapy or other work? How did you do that?
Well, healing for me was just transforming my own mind. I did doing a little bit of counseling, but actually going in, and it's all about self-awareness. Learning I had to learn what healthy love was. I had to learn what those boundaries are for me in my life. I had to learn the things that I should look for in another person.
Yes. Why do you think it is that you see so many highly successful women in these toxic relationships?
It's the desire to love. It's a desire to love. It's the desire to want love. We as ladies, we want love, and we want to be loved. We desire that other person, and so we have to understand that all love everything is not love.
Yeah, that is true. All right. Well, if people want the rest of these letters, they're gonna have to get the book, right? Where can they find?
I have a free gift for all of your viewers, and they can go right to my website and they can download the Thrive 7 Steps to Exiting a Toxic Relationship, and it's absolutely free.
I love that. All right. We're going to step up and move on, ladies.
That's right.
And everybody else, okay? All right, guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back after this.
Come back to me.
Even the strongest women can struggle when it comes to asking for help while carrying that invisible load, or even getting out of a toxic relationship. But there's plenty of help here today. So, Marsha, I want to start with you when it comes to final thoughts. What do you want to make sure the viewers understand or remember from our chat today?
Well, that, you know, a lot of times ladies, when they do decide to go ahead and leave, they leave, but then they exit and then they go right back into dating instead of taking the time that they need in order to heal. And so I just want them to understand that, you know, healing is about self-awareness. It's understanding what those root causes are in order to help you to do the deep work that you need to do in order to gain the healthy kind of relationship that you desire, the love that you truly desire. Yes. And I just want them to know that healing is possible. Your past is not your future, and you can rebuild your life totally just from transforming your own mind.
Great points. I see why you're a life coach. That's good. Jen, when it comes to that load, what are your final thoughts?
I think it is to remember that everybody deserves to be supported. And you need to have the type of connection in your relationships to be able to have that conversation and to know that you're not a burden and you have a right to set boundaries and to create and carve out a new way to manage your day so that the load is no longer invisible, but it is quite visible instead.
Yes. What's a good step on making sure that we are building that communication in our relationships?
Well, awareness, self-awareness about what you want to talk about, and then coming to have a conversation with your partner that does not feel like an attack. Being able to use proper language that illustrates this is something I'm feeling, not something you're doing or not doing. It's about how I feel. And to try to get your partner to meet you there with curiosity and connection rather than defensiveness. So we don't want to make it an attack. We want to actually be trying to connect.
I love that. Both of y'all are like, take a step back, hold on, before we move forward.
There's always a step back that needs to be taken in everything you're doing.
Like if you don't remember anything else,
that's right.
Take a pause, take a step back.
This is true.
Thank you so much, ladies, for coming on. And Jen, where can people connect with you?
JenPinkerton.com.
All right. And Marta?
Starting Over with Marta on YouTube.
All right. Excellent advice. Thank you so much. Y'all are
Thank
doing
you.
the Lord's work here, getting us together. All right, guys. You go ahead and like and subscribe on our YouTube page, Chattin with Chelsea. Keep up with us on social at Chelsea Show Fox. We cannot wait to see you on the next Chattin with Chelsea. Bye, besties.